croeso. That's all you're going to get in Welsh from me, I'm afraid. But welcome to the Planning Committee. For those who may not know, we are being webcast. So at any time, when you're speaking or not, you may be on camera. So beware. Item 1 then, attendance and apologies. There are a few, Ross.
Yes, Chair. Thank you, Chair. We have apologies from Councillor Evans, Councillor Seaborn and Councillor Burnett.
Any other apologies from anyone?
Chair, do you think it best to put down for Councillor Cameron? As far as I know, she's still treatment.
Yeah. Okay. Any others?
Oh, well, I think...
and the Mayor?
No. Is she on the committee anymore?
The Mayor has departed, yes. I could find a better way of phrasing that, probably, but...
Well, actually, she departed for London this morning. She's gone to the Buckingham Palace Garden Party.
Okay, declarations of interest. Tim, please.
Thank you, Chair. A couple of declarations, members, all in relation to item 5 on the agenda, the planning application at Garnteg Primary School. Councillor Parish, I think you wish to declare a personal-only interest as a member of Pontypool Community Council who were consulted on that application. Is that correct, Councillor Parish?
That is correct.
Thank you very much. Councillor Taylor, you're in the same position, I believe, personal-only interest on that basis?
That's correct.
Thank you. And Councillor Tomlinson, also agenda item 5, personal-only interest as a member of Pontypool Community Council. Is
Yes,
that
that's correct.
Thank you very much, Councillor Tomlinson. I don't believe there are any other declarations that are relevant, Chair, but if members have any questions, please let me know, and just to remind members to record the declarations in the register that's coming around. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Those of you who are anticipating declaring interest in relation to item 4, Tim hasn't asked you about that because item 4 has been withdrawn. It's actually technically it's an invalid application and needs to be resubmitted in due course, so it'll come back to committee hopefully at the next meeting, but we'll see. Let's deal with item 3 then, the minutes of the Planning Committee held on the 22nd of March. Go through them for accuracy. Using the number on the pages, which is page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. And page 8. You're happy with those minutes? You're happy that I signed them as a true record?
Move, Chair.
Moved. Seconded. Thank you. Are there any matters arising which members wish to raise? Queries? Comments? Good. Let's move on. I'm scrolling at the moment because we've got to go past the Welsh version. Item 4, of course, is, as I've already said, deferred or rather withdrawn. So, item 5. The erection of a new four-sided climbing tower to replace an existing climbing wall, which will need a bit of explanation, please, Norman, and then we'll throw it open for discussion.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Members may recall that back in January we approved a 5-classroom extension to the school, which was the subject of a site visit. That extension actually goes over the position currently taken up by the climbing wall, and that's the climbing wall. Unfortunately, a bit of a grey day, sitting at adjacent to the existing school. Now, what it's proposed to do is to relocate that climbing wall, but it's got to be in the form of a tower rather than a wall, because of the guy cables to stabilise it. So what is being proposed is relocation up to a position adjacent to these cabinets, and that is what is being proposed, a four-sided tower for stability purposes with that canopy on top. So it's approximately, I think, a metre higher than the actual climbing wall, but obviously it would be positioned at a higher level within the site, and that's the position of it now and the position that's being proposed. So it's been done to minimise the take of the sports pitch, but given the surrounds, we think that it's acceptable. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Norman. Any questions or comments?
Move the application approved with conditions.
Seconded? Seconded. Are you ready to vote, or do you want to discuss it? Councillor Ashley wants to discuss it, but he didn't put his microphone on, but never mind.
All I was going to say was it's replacing what's existing with something slightly improved, like with like, basically.
Okay, thank you. All right, ready to vote? All those in favour, please show. That's unanimous. Thank you very much. On to item 6. And that's the installation of two 250 kilowatt wind turbines. This is not an application as such, this is a consultation, because this proposal actually is in Blaenau Gwent, but it will be seen from parts of Torfaen, and therefore we are being consulted, and the report is telling us about the issues and recommending what we might wish to say to both the original applicant and indeed to Blaenau Gwent, who will determine the application in due course. So there are some pictures, maps, and Sarah, do you want to say something, please?
Okay, yes. As the Chair has already said, the application is to be determined by Blaenau Gwent County Borough Council. The application hasn't actually been made by them, but by a Mr Hale. The application site is actually shown on this plan here, where the arrows actually are. The boundary with the local authority is to the right of there, basically virtually showing where the arrow is at the moment. So along here, and another slide along will actually show where the boundaries actually are. 2 turbines are proposed, each having 3 blades. The actual maximum height to the tip of the blade would be 45 metres, with a height to the tower hub being 30 metres. There has actually been a previous refusal of a single turbine, which was 73.5 metres on the site, and this is a subsequent application for the 2 turbines. We have undertaken consultations with the Blaenavon ward members, the Abersuckan ward members, along with Countryside Conservation, the local plans team, Ecology and Highways. Their comments have all been reported in the actual report in order to inform the Council's response on the actual consultation. The nearest residential to the property, residential properties to the actual turbine within Torfaen are actually along Elizabeth Road, which are approximately 2 kilometres away from the actual application site. If we go on, so yeah, this is where the actual residential properties actually are. This is Elizabeth Row along here. If you go on to the next. So here, although it's not a great slide, this is where the actual turbines actually are. The thick dotted line from top to bottom actually shows the boundary between Blaenau Gwent and Torfaen. This plan actually shows the actual features in the landscape. So of particular concern to us was the actual World Heritage Site, which is at the top here, which is actually shown on there. The next slide along will actually show you where you can actually view the actual turbines from within the borough. So in terms of, this is Varteg, where you could actually view it from, but other than that, the other areas are actually outside the borough where you'd actually be able to view the turbines from. Obviously, we have had comments from Highways who are concerned about the actual access to the actual turbine, and Ecology have raised some concerns with the studies that have actually been done, and the Conservation Officer has raised concerns about the impact on the World Heritage Site. And for these reasons, we're proposing to actually object to the actual applications as reported in the report. This actually shows from within Torfaen, the actual proposed turbines would be in this area here in front of the actual woodland. The next slide along will actually, so this is actually distant views across the common land towards the actual application site. And then the next picture along. So this is the actual access road up to the actual proposed turbines within the actual borough. The next one along will actually show one of the actual points which Highways have concerns about the actual access road coming through along this particular area within the borough as well. So obviously this is a pinch point where the road becomes narrower and is restricted on both sides. Okay, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Apparently not. Any comments? Councillor Ashley?
When we went for the recent planning visit up on the top, as it were, up there, I was amazed at the number of actual turbines you could see up there. And I was looking at the height of this thing. It would be 215 foot tall at least, which is a considerable height. I kind of agree with you.
Sorry, on correction there, you're referring to the 73 metre high turbine? That was in the application which has been turned down.
Yeah.
These are lower.
They're lower, are they?
Yeah, 43 metres, I think, to the top of the blades.
Well, I just wanted to be clear about where we could see it from, because that map's not altogether clear as to where we would be seeing it from. But there is a considerable amount, where would we in our communities be visible from? I'm not making it out clearly. Is what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you, by the way, but I'm interested to see which communities it would be visible from.
In terms of residential properties, it wouldn't be visible from residential properties at all.
No, it's actually when you get up on the skyline. Yeah. Yeah.
If you go back to the
this is right up on top of the mountain.
Yeah, so basically everything that's in the deep purple is where you'd actually view it from.
I get you.
So obviously the main areas in Torfaen, so Tallywayne and Garndriffith along here, you can't actually view it from. So it's only the areas that are highlighted in the deep purple that you'd actually view it from.
But actually, when we were up on the top there, you could see quite a few turbines, but this is going to be much nearer than those.
It is going to be nearer, but it is going to be lower than those turbines. And I think if you actually go to one of the photos, there are actually turbines. If you go back to there are actually turbines that you can on there, which it isn't actually showing. It's because it's a poor photo, but I think there's one there, and I think there's one to the right as well.
There's one up by Ebbw Vale, wasn't there?
Yeah, basically from the very top, once you cross over outside of our borough, you can actually see, I think, in the periphery, about 5 turbines.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Alan?
Thank you, Chair. No, I think all the objections that have been stated here are all very sensible, and I move we accept officer's recommendations.
Could I just ask one question? Again, talking about the thing with the highway network, I mean, you showed an example of access from Talaway, which looked pretty much a non-starter for commercial development. Is there any other way to get to this land from the other side, from the Blaen y Gwent side or the Caerphilly side, but rather than the Drawvine side?
I think, Councillor, they're all... there's some areas in the Blaen y Gwent area are even worse because they come through quite substantial residential areas with really severe bends, significant on-street car parking. The reason I objected from our area was you saw the picture there of the former bridge. And if you go further on, there are a couple of tight, very, very tight bends. It's extremely difficult to get around. And the actual access route, once you get onto something, when you get further along that road, the gradient is actually severe, is probably 1 in 4. And the condition of the road is absolutely atrocious. So there is no ideal way to this site, preferably anywhere else other than on our roads, to be honest, because they are poor.
As Councillor Ashley said, when we took the planning visit recently to land quite nearby, and I think even the 4x4s had trouble getting up there to that area. So having to take up commercial vehicles plus with all the other stuff, as things stand, it feels, well, basically that I would second Councillor Furz's motion to say that we go with the recommendations of the officers.
Okay, that was moved and seconded. Anybody else wish to speak before we make a decision? No? So all those in favour of those objections being forwarded to both the applicant and Blaen y Gwent County Borough Council, please show. That too is unanimous. Thank you. We don't have the notification on the papers, but the next meeting is the 14th of June at 4 o'clock in this building, presumably. So hope to see you then. Meeting closed. Thank you.